Williamson's. Sean Dilly, Sky News.
Will be sadly missed. Heart disease is the UK's biggest killer, yet most of us aren't worried about it, and nearly a fifth of people have never done anything to try to make their hearts healthier. Well, dietitian Priya and TV presenter Anna Williamson join us now to talk a bit more about this. And Anna, your interest comes from the fact that you've got a history of heart disease in your family, so that made you acutely aware of it.
Hugely aware, and it's something that I'm in my mid-30s now, and I was thinking, you know, like a lot of this Sirco report came through, so many people aren't actually bothered about it. However, I have heart disease on both sides of my family, and young fatalities as well as a result of it in their 40s. So it's something that's very apparent for me to actually have prevention rather than cure, so to speak, and to be aware of it now and to do everything we possibly can to look after our heart health right now.
And Priya, you're a dietitian. What sort of things can we be doing to help improve the health of our heart?
Well, people definitely need to be looking at their diet, so thinking about having a more plant-based diet, choosing whole grain foods, switching from saturated fats to unsaturated fats, and being more active. So there's some really simple things people can be doing.
But is it something traditionally we don't think of as something that might affect younger people, as you were saying, Anna, that we think perhaps it's something that affects older men getting on in years and they need to address their diet, but not younger people?
Well, this is it, and this is why you know, Priya and myself have been talking about this specifically today. We need to be thinking about it earlier rather than waiting until we are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, where it's going to be harder to almost turn back the time. But by taking the appropriate measures now to look after our heart health, there are various things we can do. As Priya said, exercise, diet, and there is, of course, the Sirco fruit flow juice drink, which I take in the morning. There are all different things that we can do in order to be aware of it now, because there's no point worrying about this if our ticker is not being looked after.
One of the problems there, isn't it, that one of the underlying problems is high blood pressure, and that can be a silent problem, can't it? Because most people are not checking their own blood pressure. It's only when you go for perhaps a routine checkup that you know about it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think blood pressure is one of the main problems that we've got here, along with cholesterol, and people just not taking an overall interest in looking after their health. So, you know, thinking about your salt intake, for example, is something that's going to help with blood pressure.
And how much difference will these changes make? I mean, how can you measure if you've gone from a not very healthy heart to one that is healthy? How can you tell that what you're doing is making a difference?
But that's not something that you necessarily are going to be able to tell yourself, but that's something that is going to show later on in life, and that's something that potentially your GP is going to be able to measure for you. But I think one of the changes you can definitely tell is that you should feel better physically, so you should feel like you've got more energy, you should feel kind of, you know, more alive and able to do more.
Does it matter what you give your kids at an early age?
Absolutely. I have 2 young children, and I make sure that they get a really nutritious diet. And there's even research that shows back when you're pregnant and pre-pregnancy that it's really important to be having good nutrition, and that can affect the fetus.
So the earlier you start, the more difference you can make, and you can set them up to have healthy hearts. So it's quite often down to parents and from the very early stages.
I think so, yeah. I mean, and I actually, I had high cholesterol from my 20s, and, you know, people might say I don't look like someone that has a high cholesterol because I'm not fat, you know, I'm not sort of typical, as you would say, but I do, and it's familial high cholesterol. And as I say, from looking into my family history, there is a very big problem with familial heart disease, which is why it's really important to address it, you know, earlier rather than later, which is exactly what we're doing with everything you do in life, and I do that as well. We both practice, you know, a healthy diet and healthy exercise.
And it's quite good to note that it's not just about the visuals, that your heart age can be quite different to your actual age, and that's what people need to realise.
Yes, very much so.
So, final points, checklist, so that we can know we're doing the right things. Diet, exercise.
Stopping smoking.
Don't do that.
No, cutting down salt.
Red wine, good or bad?
Or moderation.
She's getting to the important things.
Moderation.
It's Friday. It's Friday. Hopefully a glass of red wine.
She's not listening to you anymore. Priya and Anna, thank you very much for coming in and sharing your expertise with us. Thank you very much. Now, let's see what's happening in the